An Open Window, a Miraculous Ladybug fanfiction written and narrated by Eleanor Rose. Artwork provided by Wolf Aja on Tumblr.com. You can find a link to their Instagram, Twitter, and Tumblr in the description box below. If you haven't already, make sure to subscribe and check out other videos on this channel for more narrated fanfiction. If you would like to adjust the narration speed, you can do so by clicking on the settings icon on the video. You're gonna do it tonight, man? Adrien looked up to see Luca with his arm slugged over Kagami's shoulders. Yeah, somehow, he replied, getting up from the stool and shoving his hands in his pockets. Next one's on me if you aren't up to it. Don't tease him, Kagami said. He's bad at the dating game. Adrien felt his face flush. She was right. Of all people, Kagami would know just how bad he is at dating. But this wasn't dating. Marinette was Ladybug, and she didn't know that he knew. Was it wrong for him to approach her as Adrien and ask for a date? Yeah, probably. But he didn't care how they dated. He just, wanted to. Not so much that he'd pay any cost, such as ultimatums that hurt people in the end, but now that he knew she's Ladybug, it's as clear as day. He can see it in every mannerism and hear it in each sentence she spoke. And, of course, now he could hear his heartbeat every time he thought of her. What's going on with your face? Adrien asked, trying to change the subject. Kagami and Luca exchanged glances before bursting into laughter. Poker, Luca said. Every time one of us lost, the other got to doodle on them. Ah. Adrien smiled at the simplicity of it. He could tell it was fun for both of them. He had no claim to Kagami at this point, but it was a relief she found happiness with Luca. Off you go, Tomcat, Kagami said, patting him on the mirror. Go get the girl. Unless you chicken out again, the bartender added. The group laughed as his ears turned red. Gotta go, he said, grabbing his jacket and racing for the door. Phew. The chilly December air hit him like, a breath of fresh air. He felt the heat of the bar leave him as he walked, cobblestone by cobblestone, closer to the bakery. Adrien moved out of his father's mansion the first chance he had after high school, but Marinette still lived with her parents. He couldn't blame her. If anything, he was jealous. He'd love to have what she had. Maybe, if this all works out, he might. Okay, wow. There were heavy thoughts of doubt for himself and her perception of him beginning to press on his shoulders. Chin up, Catboy. You've got this. Are we going to get cheese? Plag asked, his voice muffled through the jacket pocket. On the way home, okay, bud? We'll stop at Leon's Cheese or something. Okay, moment of truth. Adrien walked to the doors and... locked. The doors were locked. He checked his phone. Midnight. Of course a bakery would be closed now. Marinette was probably in bed, too. Sighing, Adrien turned to continue walking the street. The bartender was right. Actually, it seemed like all of the signals from the universe were right. This wasn't going to work out in his favor. Adrien saw the lamplight flicker on the pavement and turned around for one final look. The light was on in her room, and somehow it comforted him. At least he and his lady were awake at the same time, living parallel lives that didn't know they could intersect. Standing there, Adrien was overwhelmed with a desire to see her. It was deeper than his pride and rationale, but the doors were locked, and she hadn't heard his knock. Even though they were existing at the same time, in the same city, he wasn't able to see her. Well, there was one option. He could transform into Cat Noir and rap on her windows like a knight or a tomcat. No, bad idea. Nah, good idea. Black, claws out, he murmured, grateful for the stillness after hours provided. What? His Kwame asked, a last word before swirling into transformation. Okay, Cat Noir time. Using the baton, he made his way onto the upstairs patio, then hopped the railing and down a few shingles to get to Marinette's bedroom window. Marinette's bedroom window. Okay, breathe. Even if she finds this creepy, it will only reflect poorly on Cat Noir, not Adrien and Crest. Right? Right. He pressed his knuckles to the glass, gentle at first before gaining confidence. To his surprise, it pushed open, just wide enough to slip his torso through. The rest of his body could make it if he contoured correctly. But where was Marinette? Cat scanned the room, looking for his lady. She wasn't in bed or by the vanity. Was she downstairs or in the bathroom? He kept looking, eyes landing on her desk. There. There she was. His heart warmed at the sight of Marinette, passed out and beautiful over designs sprawled across her desk. Okay, time to go. There's no need to disturb her. Cat grabbed the edge of the window and pulled it toward himself, trying to close it, except that, well, it wouldn't close. It needed to be fastened from the inside. Oh, no. He could tell the cold air was wrestling itself inside, and felt bad for it. Marinette would catch a cold because he couldn't resist seeing her if he didn't do something. He hated to trespass further, but Cat wriggled inside, dropping to the floor with a feline's touch. Then, ever so gracefully, he picked up a blanket and pawed his way over to her desk, draping it over her shoulders. Cat smiled when he saw the book she'd fallen asleep atop of. It was an artwork for a DreamWorks movie he bought her the day he found out she was Ladybug. Next to it were sketches of medieval outfits she was working on for a play she and Alia were in. The scene that told a story in front of him was so simple, yet intimate, he had to catch his breath. "Good night, my princess," he said, pressing a kiss to the back of her head. She stirred from the gesture, but didn't wake up. It would be nice to carry her to the chase or her bed, but he'd already intruded on his not welcome. At least she wouldn't get sick now. Cat Noir made his way back to the window and pressed it shut, making sure it was sealed and locked this time. Then he made his way up the stairs to the patio door, taking a moment to look back before leaving. There, in the lamplight, Marinette was the most beautiful girl he had ever seen. "I'm gonna marry that girl someday," he said aloud, hoping the universe was listening. And with that, he left, closing the door behind him. The night air was as cold as he'd left it, but his heart was warm, burning with emotion. He meant what he said. He was going to marry Marinette someday. He'd just have to get around to asking her out first. Thank you so much for listening, and once again, thank you to Wolf Aja for letting me use their art in this video. You can find links to their Instagram, Tumblr, and Twitter in the description box below, and if you haven't already, make sure to subscribe and check out other videos on this channel for more narrated fanfiction. I'll catch you next time!